what's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube and Rumble subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It's Kush back at again with another New York Giants update video. We are in Week 11, the bye week is over, the Giants break is over. Unfortunately, in that bye week, every team that we needed to lose won their games. The Eagles won, Washington won in an upset against the team that we're going to face this week, the defending champions Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm pretty sure Minnesota won. I'm pretty sure the Saints won. Any team that was in wildcard contention basically won on our bye week. As we expect at this point, the Giants have the worst luck. Like, not even one of those teams could have just go ahead and lost, worsened their record, and improved our chances at that 7th seed wildcard spot. But it is what it is, man. This is what happens when your team digs themselves into a hole. But speaking of this week, I got 3 updates here for the Giants from 3 different websites, by the way. So shout out to Giants Wire, Heavy, and BigBlueView.com for providing this information. One of them is on a couple guys that we protected on our practice squad, and we've actually seen one of them in action actually not this past week, but 2 weeks ago against the Raiders. We also have news on Gary Brightwell and Devontae Booker, as Devontae Booker did take a slight injury in the Raiders game, his best game as a Giant. And then, of course, we have some update on our franchise left tackle Andrew Thomas and whether or not he's going to be back in time for Tampa Bay. So let's get right to it. First and foremost, the 4 players that we protected and on our practice squad. That would be Pharoh Cooper, Trent Harris, Jaron Williams, and Chris Myarick. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. So Chris is a tight end. Pharoh was a wide receiver / returner. Trent Harris, we know him, the edge rusher / linebacker. And then Jaron Williams is a cornerback. Now, Pharoh Cooper, we saw in the return game against the Raiders. He served for 3 kicks, 45 yards, and 2 punts for 26 yards. Not a bad job, but with all the injuries and shots the Giants have been taking to the receiving core, and a couple of them came on returns. You know, we had number 18, Dante Pettis, number 13 went out with a hand injury. Number 18 went out with also a hand injury. I believe it was either a fractured wrist or a broken wrist or something like that. And both of those were on punt returns. Right now, our only healthy receivers, excluding Kenny Golladay and Kadarius Toney, who were in the Raiders game technically as healthy, but with the limited value that we saw they were being used in, and just the way they were running around, and not being involved in the game plan, it was very clear they were out there as decoys and they weren't fully healthy. We basically got John Ross and Darius Slayton at this point as our 2 healthy receivers. But that's the guys we protected for the Raiders. Not sure if the Giants believe maybe we're going to have some more problems at those positions, specifically with Cooper. Maybe they plan to use him once again in the return game, and they're not trying to take a chance and have even more of our receivers get injured. We'll see how that goes. And then moving over to the Heavy article with Gary Brightwell and Devontae Booker. Gary Brightwell has been activated from the reserve and COVID-19 list. This was just a couple days ago on November 15th. He's been drafted out of Arizona in the 6th round, as we know, but he has not been used that well, which has been a major complaint amongst Giants fans and anybody that's been watching the team this season, because of the fact that Saquon was not fully healthy in the first 4 or 5 weeks, and when it seemed like he was coming on and it seemed like he was getting back to himself, boom, another ankle injury, Saquon goes out. So then our number 1 running back becomes Devontae Booker, who wasn't really doing even that good until the Chiefs game and the Raiders game, where in those 2 games, he's been averaging 125.5 yards from scrimmage and 4.4 yards per carry, which are very, very good. However, we're talking about week 8 and week 9 in the season. That means there's been 7 weeks of a terrible run game, which I think we could all agree on. It has been 7 weeks of bad offensive line blocking in the run game and running backs not hitting the holes, just not being fast enough, not nearly elusive enough as they should be, and it all results in one of the worst run games in the NFL. And we basically had Booker as our number 1 running back, with Elijah Penny, our fullback, as our number 2, and we're all wondering where Gary Brightwell is. Brightwell, we drafted him in the 6th round. We know he has special teams ability, but it really seemed like the Giants drafted to only use him in that capacity. He's still a running back. He could still be a backup. He could still come in for a couple of runs, switch things up for the opposing defense, and even give Gary Brightwell a rest. It's it's not that hard now, Jason Garrett. And I'm only calling out Garrett because he's the play caller, but that's also on Joe Judge and this entire coach staff, which has been very, very so-so this entire year. We're not sure how to feel about them yet, and maybe coming off a bye week, we'll see something good for them. But Booker, like I mentioned earlier, he has been dealing with something since the Raiders injury. He had a hip injury that forced him to exit the game. And then according to Dan Solomon, x-rays on the injury came back negative, so he confirmed that he was feeling great. But in the team's practice from the bye, he was nowhere to be seen. And that from Dan Duggan now, another beat reporter. He says that Booker was one of 3 reporters, including Elijah Penny, his backup, and Graham Gano, who were all dealing with quote-unquote personal issues, whatever those issues might be. Whether it's something with family, maybe it's with COVID, which has been a lot of the players' personal issues for the past 2 seasons. Whatever the case is, this is just showing more and more with the activation of Gary Brightwell now. It's showing more and more why we need him to see some game time, or maybe we just need to pick up somebody off of waivers, man. We just need another running back in there, and of course, we need Saquon Barkley back healthy, but we have no idea whether or not that's going to happen. A player that we do have a faint idea of, though, that's even more important than Saquon, is Andrew Thomas. So this is the one from BigBlueView.com, and he has been designated to return from IR now. So I'm just going to read straight to you guys from the article what it says. The New York Giants might be getting a boost for their beleaguered offensive line soon. The team announced Wednesday that Andrew Thomas is being designated to return from injury reserve. Thomas missed the last 3 games of 4 of the last 5. He suffered a foot injury that caused him to miss Week 5 against the Dallas Cowboys. He returned Week 6 against the Los Angeles Rams, but then suffered an ankle injury. The combination of injuries, one to each leg, placed him on IR. That's crazy to think about. This man was out there. We know last year he played with an injured ankle, so he was playing on one leg basically, and he did that for the entire season. This year he basically tried to do that again, but then when the game against the Rams came, you can't play on 0 legs. He had to go down, and he definitely needs to take that time off and hope that his body healed. But the fact of the matter is, even with a little bit of an injured ankle, the first 4 and 5 weeks out of Andrew Thomas, when he was healthy, before any of the injuries took place, he looked amazing. And as the article says, his 98.1 Pro Football Focus pass blocking efficiency would score 3rd in the league among tackles, only behind Andrew Whitworth of the Rams and Tyron Smith of the Cowboys. This man played so many snaps, and he played so well that he graded out as one of the best pass blocking tackles in the league, and he was still really good in the run game as well. Now, because he's designated to return and able to participate in practice, it does not necessarily mean he's going to be back Monday night against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. However, what I will say is I would probably bet on him being back for that game. The injuries that he had, we don't know the severity of it. The Giants have kept that under wraps really, really well. But the fact that there's rumors and a lot of articles around speculating his return suggests that maybe it was not, too serious. Maybe it was not that bad. It obviously was not season ending. And if he gets placed on IR again, I think Andrew Thomas will then be on IR for the rest of the season. So hopefully that does not happen, God forbid. But this Tampa Bay game is basically going to be 4 or 5 weeks removed from his last injury. And if it was just an ankle sprain, like specifically a low ankle sprain or something, and whatever else on the other foot, for football players, usually that month time would be enough. So we'll have to see how they deal with it. We'll have to put trust in the training staff and the medical staff, which hasn't given us much reason to put trust in them. But he might be back for Tampa Bay, and we all know that would be a huge positive for the offense. We all know how this man by himself can affect the game. But as of today, guys, let me know what you think. Put your thoughts and comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, and I'm out. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'll catch y'all in the next one.